discussion. Before anything else, I invite you all to subscribe to Math Nation's channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we have new uploads. For today, we are going to talk about the midline theorem. First, let us define what is midline theorem. A midline or mid-segment of a triangle states that the segment that joins the two midpoints is parallel to the third side. To give us a review of properties of triangles, let us watch and hear from Mr. Peters.
Now let's look at triangles. A triangle is a three-sided polygon. You can classify triangles by both the lengths of its sides and the measures of its angles, but we're going to first start by talking about the lengths of its sides. So first we have this triangle here. All three sides are of different lengths. When that happens, it's what we call a scalene triangle. Scalene means no sides are equal. All right? When we get to a one like this, the next one, where sometimes you'll see marks like this, that means all sides are equal. When all sides are equal, we have an equilateral. Equal lines is what it literally means. And finally, when you have something that's similar, that has two sides that are equivalent where the last side is not, we call that isosceles. So an isosceles means that there are two equal sides in the triangle. Like I said before, you can also classify them based on their angles. The first one we have here is what we call an obtuse angle, or obtuse triangle. That means one angle inside, for this one, the case it's this one, is greater than 90 degrees. When that happens, it's an obtuse triangle. Obviously, the other two are not greater than 90. Then, if you have a triangle that has a measure exactly of 90 degrees, you have a right triangle. A right triangle is a triangle composed of one 90-degree angle. And finally, when all angles are less than 90 degrees, you have an acute. So all of these measures in here would be less than 90 degrees. And that's what an acute triangle would be. Now, when naming a triangle, you must name it by its angles and the length of its side. So as you can see in here, we have three acute angles and all the sides are equal. So we have an acute equilateral triangle. Whenever you have an equilateral, it's always going to be acute because it's always going to have the same measures throughout. 60, 60, and 60 in every single equilateral triangle, no matter how you draw it, how big it is, or how small it is.
Let us now start our lesson. Let's have construction of a midline of a triangle. You get your pen and paper and draw a triangle. Label it triangle ABC. The first step in constructing a midline of a triangle is we have to find the midpoints of the two sides. Let's have side AC. And let's draw a point in the middle of side AC. Another one, let's have side AB or the hypotenuse. And again, draw a point in the middle of side AB. The next step is we have to connect the midpoints with a line. And after that, you have now the midline of the triangle. Here are some illustrations of the midlines that can be drawn in a triangle. The red segments are the midline. The midline theorem in a triangle suggests that the segment that joins the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half as long. The midline is parallel to the third side. In this illustration, we have triangle ABC. Point D is drawn, or is the midpoint of side BA, and point E is the midpoint of side BC. If we connect those midpoints, we will have line DE, and line DE is called the midline, and it is parallel to the third side, which is side AC. Another one, the midline is half as long as the third side. Considering our example a while ago, if the third side measures 10 cm, AC is 10 cm, we just have to divide it by 2, and we will get the measure of the midline. So 10 divided by 2, the measure of the midline will be 5. Another example. You draw triangle CVD and midline OI is drawn. If CD measures 34, what will be the measure of the midline? Okay, so we'll just have to divide CD by 2. So 34 divided by 2, the measure is 17. Did you get that right? Very good. Another, what if the measure of the midline is given? What will we do? Very good. We will multiply it. Since a while ago, we will divide it by 2 to get the measure of the midline. Now, if the midline is given, we will multiply it by 2 to get the value of the third side. So if this is 18, if the midline is 18, 18 times 2 will be, very good, 36. So the value or the measure of the third side will be 36. Let's have another example. Still given triangle CVD and midpoint O is drawn inside CV. CO measures 22.5. What will be the measure of the whole side? What will be the measure of CV? Can you guess? Can you solve for it? What operation will we use? Yes, we will use multiplication. We just have to multiply 22.5 by 2, since we all know that it is divided by a midpoint, and the midpoint divides the line into 2 equal parts. So 22.5 times 2, the whole line measures 45. So side CV is 45 units. If you have questions or clarifications, you may reach your teachers in your group chats. And that ends our lesson for today. Again, this is your teacher Alin, and don't forget that math is fun. Let's do it.